Welcome everybody to my next live stream. Tonight we are going to go through the Boeing 737 startup. Um, as a lot of my viewers have asked me in the past, how do you start this plane when the engines are off? And I tried this a few times without a checklist when I first started playing X-Plane. It's very difficult because it doesn't do what you think it should do. So I'm going to walk you guys through that. So this evening we are in Los Angeles, right at sunset. It's a very pretty evening. I have X Life running, so we're seeing some traffic move around, which is kind of cool. We're just sitting here at a gate. We're not hooked up because we're not going to load any passengers. I'm going to go through a few things for you guys. The first one is kind of how I'm set up. So from here, from when you start X-Plane, once you get it loaded, what I've done for my setup is I'm running the Boeing 737-800. I've clicked Customize. I have unchecked Start with the engines running. So the engines, the plane will be dark when we get aboard. Weights and balance, just go ahead and check those. Just make sure we have some fuel, which we do. We're good. I don't think, we'll see. We might go flying a little bit. We're going to basically fly with nobody except for a couple of people. So we'll just say there's about 2,500 pounds on board of additional weight. No drinks or snacks or peanuts for this flight. And we'll hit done. So we've set our fuel and we've set our weight for the plane. It's very, very light for this aircraft. So if we do decide to go flying around, it'll be very easy. Clicking on apply changes there, that will go ahead and set the aircraft up the way we want it. The other thing people ask me is how do you get yourself set in the right airport in the right spot? So let me show you that quickly. So back here, clicking on the little airplane icon, click this guy. You go to change location, and you pick the airport. So this one will be Los Angeles International, or KLAX. Click this little customized button up here. And this will give you a view of the airport. You can start on the runways. You can start basically anywhere where these circles are. So I've picked Terminal 3, position 37A for mine. You can click over here where it says starts. So you can pick ramps. You flip this over, you can pick runways. You can also pick starting in flight a certain distance away from the runway. So if you wanted to, let's say, be 10 nautical miles from runway 24L, you could set that up and off you would go. But anyway, so we've picked our position. You can pick any circle here on the airport. Then you hit new flight. Yep, that's fine. And everything will load up for us. Go ahead and get the view, the sunset view here. So as you can see, there is nothing on with this plane. No flashy lights, no interior lights, no nothing. Let's go ahead and jump into the cockpit. It's still a little light. I wanted to do this a little dark to show you guys a couple of features, especially if you do a night flight. One of them is what about if you do get in here and it's pitch black? So one of the things that you can do is you can go over here and click on view, and you can pick the aviation flashlight, or you could pick night vision like this, which I'm not a huge fan of. I think it's cheating. But we'll start with the aviation flashlight. So we will pick the aviation flashlight. We'll turn the night vision goggles off. As you can see, it puts out just a light little red view here. So I've made a checklist for us this evening to where we can kind of step through some of these things. And so let me go ahead and show that on the screen here. So this is my little checklist that I use to start the 737. So this is a scenario. It's a night, cold, and dark startup. How do you start cold? We went through that. How do you start on ramp? We did that. We set our weight and our fuel. Again, make sure you have gas in the plane, and make sure that you have the weight set. If you want to start up and feel like you've got a couple of 100 passengers on, use about 190 pounds as a passenger calculation weight, and multiply that by your passenger count, and there you go. So, as get familiar with the cockpit. Look around. There's lots of buttons. There's lots of switches on this aircraft. You don't have a co-pilot, obviously, so you'll have to play both roles as you go through the startup. So we will go ahead and we'll start our list here. So our first procedure is secure the cabin. And so this will walk through securing and enabling the cabin for us to get this plane up and running. So we'll come over here. Our first thing that we need to find, again, you need to look around a little bit to find all these controls because there's a bunch of them. So the first one we're going to do is we need to turn on the batteries. So if you look up, it's a little bit it's on the left side, about the middle of the first set of panels. Got to flip the connector up, or the cover up, and we're going to go ahead and turn the batteries on. All right. So, and then go ahead and cover the switch back up per our checklist here. So, checklist number 1. I want to. I guess because this is so small, I can't do my colors. I was going to do some color coding, but I just guess I can't do that. 1 second here, folks. I would have to make it bigger. I'm not going to do that. All right, so first step there. Oh, I have my checkboxes. I've been working on this. I haven't finished it, so we run out of checkboxes. So, anyways, battery on and covered. Check. Next one is standby power to auto and covered. So this switch is easy to find. It's right below it. It's lit up there for us. Flip that open and it says set it to auto. And then we'll go ahead and we'll cover that back up. So standby power and check. Visible tuner selector to batteries. So that's this switch right here. And we're going to move this to battery. All right, so that is check. Check for 5.8 amps or more. So we're good on the amps, and we're good on the volts. Plane's telling us that the batteries are discharging, so we do need to pay attention to that. We need to make sure that the APU switch here, the power selector switch, is set to standby. So we'll check that. Check the master warning. If it's on, disengage it, which it is. So we'll disengage that. Need to go find the hydraulic pumps. So let's see, where are the hydraulic pumps? I think they're over this direction. Okay, so hydraulic pumps A and B, they are currently off, showing low pressure. That is fine. We want to make sure they are set to off. Got our check button there. All right, the next one is fuel pumps set to off. So let's go and find the fuel pumps. I think they are, that's the bus transfer. Oh, here they are. So here are the fuel pumps. They're kind of to the lower left of the upper panel. So off, 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 and off. So good. interior lights is required, so it's dark. So we can turn on some lights just to make this a little bit easier. Let me make the control stick go around here. All right, let's see here. Main panel. I'll turn the lights on in the main panel a little bit, make them brighter. Upper panel, turn those guys on. I think I gotta turn the master lights on if I remember right here. Let's see, where are all the light switches? Those are the outside light switches. We'll get to those in a minute. Those are the emergency exit lights, so we don't need those. Here we go. So panel, brighten the panel up. There we go. Oh, that's a little too bright for me. Alright, so the panel, we have some lights on the power panel. We're just going to go ahead and turn the overhead lights on inside the cockpit so dim so we can see around a little bit better. We don't have any passengers on here, so we're not going to go and turn all the lights on in the back. I don't think, I guess we can turn a little bit of monitor. I'll turn the background, I'll turn those on a little bit. DS floods, we'll turn those on a little bit. Main panel's up. And I think we're good there. All right. Check that. Make sure. Our next one, so ground powered on. So we're not doing a complete remote start, so we can get some ground power to help. Never a bad thing. Keep our batteries from running out. So we'll turn the ground power on. So ground power available. So we've engaged the ground power on this switch right here. That makes just keeps us from killing our batteries, which is a good thing because you can run your batteries out really, really quick. All right, so that bus transfer set to auto and cover. Oh yeah, we've done that. We did that earlier. Just double checking it. Power switch to APU gen. That's this guy. Check. Emergency light armed and covered. You know, I always forget where these things are. Where are they? Oh, they're actually right here. So we'll turn them to armed. All right, we'll cover those guys back up. Need the light strobe set to steady. These are all important things to make sure that people know that we're in a aircraft with people in it. And the lights are right there. So I'll turn those guys on. And we got wheel well. We want that one on. We want wing set to on. And we'll turn the logos on. So you can kind of see now. I've turned some lights on the plane. And so you can see inside we got the cabin lights on. I did turn a couple cabin lights on. We have the wing lights on. We have the pretty logo lights on. So you guys can kind of see kind of what this all looks like as you start to bring their aircraft on. All right, so we'll check there. Oops. Back into the cabin, and we've got our next one is seatbelt set to auto. Oh yeah, this is the infamous sound that we all like, where it goes. So we'll just set it to on. That. So the recirculating fans on this model, this is a default model. These things aren't on. I leave them on here so if I play another model, I remember to do them. But these switches don't work. Oh, here, I can turn my flashlight off. View, aviation flashlight. Turn that off. So yeah, so these switches aren't simulated or aren't modeled in this one. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. The L and the art pack, the packs aren't either. Isolation valve, no quickie. What did you want to try? Click, click, click. No worky. Alright, check the autopilots is next. Just make sure that everything is off in autopilot land. So the directors are all off. The disengage switch, we'll go ahead and push that. There are no green lights. The directors are both off. Nothing looks to be on. So I think we are good there. Speed brake, not armed. Make sure that the speed brake's not armed. It's right. And it's right down here. So you kind of look. It's an awkward view, but just make sure that it is not armed. All right. So we got it all the way up there. So we're good. IRS selector. Oh, yeah, it's up here. The IRS selector, but it's not armed either. Oops. Or it's not simulated, I should say. Apologize. So not a big deal there. That's where they're at. FMC. We are not going to go through FMC work. This is more of a startup video. FMC, there's thousands. I may even do one. There are videos all over the place. You can go watch one on the FMC. On the FMC. We're not going to go through that right now. All right, so we got through the bulk of it here. So let's go ahead and we need to get our APU started up. So generally what you would get ready to do, well, here, let's go ahead and get the APU started and we'll talk about that. So let's go ahead and get the, so this guy wants us to go ahead and get the aft or the number one fuel pumps on. That's what we need for the APU, right? Then we're going to go ahead and start the APU. That's on. Hit the next button. I'll fire up. It's a small little turbine engine in the back of the plane if you're curious. I hold it for a few seconds there. Let it come all the way up. Then we need to watch these gauges. And this gauge right here is going to tell us when the APU is generating enough power to go ahead and transfer. And so there you go. So we will go ahead and engage the APU. And so now the APU is powering the airplane. So that's those APU Gen 1. So go ahead and make sure that the APU switches are on, the bleed switches are on. So click this. And we want to make sure that the duct pressure is above 30 for number one, which it is. So we're good there. Parking brake set to park. Yep, set to park. Oh, we're supposed to check the voltage. I'm bad. Skip that step. So let's go here and check the voltage panel. Make sure that we're getting everything from the APU, which we are. We're getting plenty of power, lots of volts. Over 24, so we're good there. All right, so we'll go back down here. Our next step is to disconnect from the ground power. So usually a guy come and get the ground power feed from us, but we'll go ahead and we'll disconnect from it. Ground power is off. Master caution, check for it. It's off. This is where we go through some pre-flight work before we do a pushback. So you need to get your ATIS, check in with tower, or check in with departure. You'd set your squawk. That is all down here if you're curious or if you need to know. Down here on the radios. This is your squawk. You turn your radio here to the ATIS for this airport, which I don't know. Yeah, we bring all the floods up here. I turned these on earlier. All right. The elevator trim. This is something you get from the FMC, but we didn't go through that. So we're just going to give ourselves 5% here on the flaps. If you watch the dial here. Interesting, the flaps didn't set. Oh, you know what? I'm missing a step in my. Oh no, I missed a step here. I forgot that the pump should be on earlier. So let me turn the hydraulic pumps on here, guys. I will fix my list because without the hydraulic pumps, the flaps don't work. So you see now that the flaps, they're moving out to 5. That's why we have checklists. And I need to update my checklist. Alright, so close the doors, bus transfer check. So we want to check to make sure that's good. Here, let me zoom back out. So it's on auto and covered. Fuel pumps are all on. So we're going to turn the back pumps on. Make sure we have no cross feeds. We don't want to be moving fuel from one side of the plane to the next. Go ahead and turn on your anti-collision lights. They are over this direction. Check those two on. Thrust to, yep, keep trying to overwrite my list here. Make sure the thrust levers are on idle, which they both are. And then we want to do a pushback. So we can go ahead and do that. I'll show our ground window. So we'll request our pushback and
service trucks coming.
We need the brakes off. Let's turn the brakes off. We're going to push back straight back. Here comes our little push cart. As you can see, the plane's all lit up. And so we're in good shape here. Give this push cart just a second to come and hook up. Maybe. Come on. I think I hit the extra button and got the APU. I got the ground power. I got all the services. Got the fuel truck over here. We give them a second to go away, and then we'll get the push cart back over here. Push cart may still come try to hook up. Oh yeah, I made a mess. All right, let's just give this a second. Get these ground service trucks out of here. I guess he wants to deliver me some Scooby snacks. All right, there he goes. And some more Scooby snacks coming. Oh, there's a push cart coming right through the middle of the airport. I guess that's some new magical trick they've got. All right. Push cart will push us back here. Wait for him to push us back, and we'll go ahead and fire up the engines once we get pushed back out. Don't need to do it while we're rolling backwards. We can, but we don't need to do that. A lot of pilots, I mean, this is generally where pilots would do that. So come in, set the parking brake. All right, we're going to, so we didn't request it, but we went ahead and we pushed back. Typically you'd request that from the tower. All right, let's go ahead and get these, this first engine lit up. So we got the fuel pump on, got all of our pumps on, we're good there, everything's working, life is good. double check our duct pressure, make sure it's at the right, it's at 30 or higher, which it is, which is good. That's where we want it to be. Engine 1 startup. So engine ignition set to opposite. That switch does not work in this model. Engine 2 start to ground. So this is what actually will start taking basically thrust from the APU and starting to spool the engine. So we'll click the left engine here to ground. Come down here and look, and you'll see right here, you'll see it to start spooling up. Once that hits 20, we want to flip this number 1 up right here, and that will put fuel into the engine or into the jet, and we'll start to get ignition. So as you can see, it's spooling all the way up. Our exhaust gas temperatures and fuel flow and everything is coming alive. So fuel flow, it's good. EGT is good. Exhaust gas temperature, it's good. Just give everything just a moment to settle in. Like I said, if you ever flown in a plane, it takes them a minute or two to get that first engine started, and then they'll start the second one. All right, and then we need to make sure that once we start that, we go back to the engine start switch, and we go from auto to continuous. So this actually will keep the engines on. All right, so we'll go ahead and start the same procedure on engine number 2. Flip that to ground. Come back down here. You'll see it starting to come alive. This is your N2. Your N1's up here. Get to 20. Go ahead and give it some gas. All right, coming alive. N1's coming alive. EGT's coming up. 600 degrees or 565 degrees or so is where it'll start to settle into. All right, back up here. Turn it to continue. Don't want to crash the plane. All right. Engine generator switches. So we'll come up here and just too close there. Come back over. All right, so we're going to go flip these to the engines. So the engine generator. So click that to on. Click that to on. Go up here and move our generator to Gen 1. So we got power and amps. Move to Gen 2. We're good. And we'll set that to generator 1 for our flight. All right, so our power selector was set to Gen 1. And we can go ahead and turn off the bleeds for the APU. So turn that off, and then that off. And that duct temperature should go down to nothing, which it did. And then we can go ahead and turn the APU off. And it's winding down. So that is my little startup video of taking basically this plane from dark and cold and getting it to where we have an engine start. So the engines are running, as you can tell. The plane is pushed back and it is ready to go. So I guess we could do a, I don't know, we'll do a taxi tonight. There's more to this list. I'll do that in another video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, please, go ahead and hit the like button. That's very important to us. And also go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you like these videos. Well, I do all sorts of videos. I do how-to videos. I do just flying around videos. I do just kind of a little bit of any and everything to do with aviation. So I will talk with you guys later. Take care.